Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a first impressions video for you, and I have another new Spyderco. This is the Native Chief in plain black G10. You can see that there. Let me move this guy out of the way and let you take a look at the knife itself. Want to cover a couple of quick background things here. This, of course, is based on the Spyderco Native, which is a very, very popular Spyderco, and either last year or the year before, I guess the year before, 2016 is what I'm going with. I could be wrong. But a couple of years ago, Spyderco did a large version of the Nirvana. In this case, it was the Shaman, but they didn't just make the Shaman longer. It was bigger and beefier and more heavy duty in every respect. All right, so if you like the Native, but you didn't want something that big and beefy, you just wanted it to be bigger, this is a great option. All they've done essentially was stretched it out. They kept the lightness, they kept the slimness, they kept how easy it carries, and some of those things are lost on the Shaman, although I do love the Shaman. It's one of my favorite Spydercos. This is definitely going to be, perhaps a little closer to the Native than the Shaman turned out to be by the time they were done making it as big as they did. Very quickly, I did go find a ruler here so I could show you this. That is about the size of the Shaman, and if I kind of hold these side by side, you can see how much bigger the Native Chief is going to be. Did I say the Shaman? I meant the Native. So this is about the size of the Native. Let's get that right. So this is how much bigger the Native Chief is than the Native. And you guys know I like the larger knives. I like the extra cutting edge. I like the extra handle real estate, and there's lots of that on this knife. Now, before I give you all those numbers, let me say I got this from White Mountain Knives. Huge thank you to Justin for sending this out. And if you want one, use my discount code SHARPSTUFF. You can look for it down in the description box, and you can find the link to White Mountain Knives there as well. And as of recording this, they have some in stock. Now, if you're watching this months later, I can't promise you anything, but if they don't have these, Justin's got lots of great stuff over there, and my discount code is good for everything, so go ahead and use it for that. Now, let's get back to our main subject at hand, which is the size of this guy. This is a big knife, guys. 9 1/8 inches overall. 3.9 ounces, which is really, really nice. For a 9-inch knife to weigh under 4 ounces is very impressive. We've got 5 1/8 on the handle length. I don't know why I couldn't spit that out. Blade length here is going to be 4 1/16 with 3 5/8 inches of cutting edge. And for grip area, even with grip area here, we've got a ton, guys. So 4 1/4 inches if you just kind of count this part of the handle. That is, we ignore the choil. It goes up to 5 1/8 inches if you include that choil. So even if you have like the biggest hands known to man, this handle is going to fit your hands pretty comfortably. And that's the other thing that they've really done here. So the Native, the great thing about the Native was how comfortable it was in hand. And this, I think, is every bit as comfortable, just bigger. And I've got to say, I really, really like that a lot. Haven't talked about materials yet, so let's quickly hit on that. We have a leaf-shaped, nice, typical Spyderco blade here, full flat grind, pretty thin blade stock. I'm not sure what the actual measurement is, but I'll check it before the full review. S30V steel here, very nicely done in Golden, Colorado, which happens to be in the USA and on planet Earth. Then we've got the handle here, and I really like this. Kind of reminds me of my Manix 2 lockback. Similar construction style in the fact there's no stainless steel in here. It's just the G10, and I really like that. Lightens up the knife a whole lot. The lockback does feel very precise, which is pretty typical from Spyderco. It feels like an Endura, feels like a Delica, feels like the Manix 2 lockback. All just feel very nice and very high quality. The cool thing about this is if you're, I don't know, left, right, upside down, backward, handed, doesn't really matter. This is extremely ambidextrous. It's got a 4-way positionable clip. And of course, with a lockback, it's going to be literally the exact same locking method either way. It's not a knife that flicks out very easily, at least not for me. Maybe some of you out there can do it. But I'm not able to flick this knife out. And that's just because with a lockback, you have that constant lock pressure on the tang of the blade that stops it from moving super freely. Now, I haven't had this long. I haven't had time to break it in or clean the pivot or add any KPL or anything like that. So that may change down the road. I do want to throw in a couple of quick other knives here that this kind of reminds me of and just kind of shows you the reason I've had so many Spydercos this year is they just have a bunch of knives that are really, really compelling to me. I like the big knives, of course. The Subvert based on the Black Snow Custom Sabotage is cool because it's a collaboration. The Amalgam is just a really useful, comfortable knife that I absolutely love. This is one of the best things Spyderco's done in a while, and so you can kind of see where this fits in and why I might be interested in it. So now you've kind of got a little bit of a size comparison. Let me ask you this while we're on that subject. Would you like me to throw a couple of knives in? Usually I don't bother with that on first impressions, but as I was thinking about it, getting ready for this video, I'm like, you know what, that could work. So I don't need to, most of what I talk about in a review, it's you need some experience to kind of figure it out. But in terms of just throwing a couple extra knives on screen, I don't need to know anything for that. So I could easily do that in first impressions. Let me know your preference down in the comments below. So what are my initial thoughts? What's my response to this knife? No big surprise here. I definitely like it. It feels good in hand. It's nice and lightweight, so it's going to carry very well. And you guys know I really like when I can have lots of cutting edge in a fairly lightweight, easy to carry package, and this really delivers all of that. The other thing is it kind of gets some nostalgia points from me because I really liked the Manix 2 lockback. I ended up selling it because I was after something else, which wasn't a bad choice, of course, but I have missed that knife a lot. So this kind of satisfies that itch in me for a Manix 2 lockback. If you like that knife or you like the thought of that knife, this might be a good option for you as well. Or if you're just a person who loves the Spyderco Native but would like something a little bigger without becoming as beefy and heavy as the Shaman, again, I think this will work well for that. Overall, it's a large knife. It's a nice, easy to carry knife. And so if those are the kind of things you look for, this is a really good, slicey, lightweight, comfortable knife. And so if you fall into any of those categories, I think you'll probably appreciate this one quite a bit. I know my initial impression is quite good. I'm pretty happy with it. And of course, we'll give it a few weeks, a few months maybe, and I'll come back with a full review. So make sure you like and subscribe so that you're around when I come out with that full description. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to you soon.